जाति नीति कुल गोत्र दूरगम नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम देश काल विषयातिवर्त्य यद ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि. We will chant from the 7th verse onward. 15th chapter, 7th verse. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात्. श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते. उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितम्. यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः. So I said this is the third section. Then we will go over to the fourth section. Up to this we have done. Now, to make this study interesting, there is a technique which we have to diligently apply. That is, unless we are make the shlokas into our sadhana, it will never be interesting. As I said that this is a knowledge about our own self. So unless this knowledge is lived, unless we try to live, it will not be having its power, it will not inspire us. So this section, this third section is about individual sadhana. Now he will go over to cosmic level. This is at the individual level. How? Because he is saying how in this individual body, mind, personality, what is happening. Now to make it a sadhana, we have to remember very well that just like in the previous verses, first section, what was the sadhana? Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam. You remember the sadhana part of it? First was asanga, the cultivation of asanga, and how to make the sword dridha, powerful, by applying the sharpness through viveka. With the viveka sharpener, making the sword sharp. Then next was, once you have started practicing asanga, you have to introduce enquiry. Parimargitavyam. Parimargitavyam means a wholesome enquiry. It is not only curiosity of knowing what is the self, whether the Atma goes here or there. These are all curiosity. You have to make it a wholesome sadhana, that I have to realize my own self, and for that, whatever to be done. Then, in that section itself, the next sadhana was, Krishna is saying, I take refuge in that ultimate Purusha, prapadye. Prapadye means take refuge. That means, and that alone, tameva Purusham prapadye. Tameva adyam, what is that? Tameva chadyam Purusham prapadye. I take refuge only in that Adi Purusha. Yata pravritti prasita purani. That is the Avyaya Pada, that is the unchanging Purusha. I take refuge only in that. Now, if you make it a wholesome sadhana, means all other things will become less important. This has to be given the supreme position. Taking refuge in the highest power means he will not be afraid of anything at all. In Kathopanishad, it is said that by his fear, the sun is radiating, the moon is radiating, the fire is burning. By his fear, the Mrityu also is doing its job. Mrityu is doing its job means unless people die, how will you live? It's not possible. As there is creation, there has to be destruction also. Not only that, after the next shloka or so, Kathopanishad says that for whom the Brahmana and Kshatriya, they are the powerful. Brahmana means those who are custodian of knowledge, and Kshatriya means those who are custodian of power, the protection of the country, everything. Two most powerful class of people. For whom Brahmana and Kshatriya are food, odana. And Mrityu is the side dish, Yama is the side dish, sabji. Once we take refuge, is it to say that we should be afraid of this Adi Purusha? No. He is saying that Purusha is what I am. That is in myself. That is myself. So if we take complete wholesome refuge in him, then you have not to fear from anybody. Sun, moon, Yamaraja, king, prime minister, president of any country, nothing. No fear at all. To make you fearless, they are saying, Bhayat tapati surya, Bhayat tapati agni, whatever. So, taking wholesome refuge in that Adi Purusha was the sadhana. Then, after that, we came to the next level, where all the qualities of our personality are discussed. So, you have to make it a sadhana. That is, what is the meaning of Nirmana, Nirmoha? What is the meaning of Sangha Dosha? What is the meaning of Adhyatma Nitya, Vinivritta Kamaha, Dvandvairi Vimuktaha? So that has to be a sadhana. There is no difficulty there. Now coming to this third section, 7th to 11th, the sadhana is the first line. He says that Mama Sanatanaha Amshaha Jivaluke Jivabhutaha. That is, whatever is the jiva in us, that is the sanatanaha amshaha of the ultimate Purusha. And ultimate Purusha, what is his nature? He is untouched by anything at all. Nothing is touching him at all. So if we are also, our real identity is that Purusha, even amshaha is not a proper expression, but we have to say, because there is no other word, it is in the objective level we are talking. But it is effectively the same Purusha who is taking the form of the Jiva. I quoted from the 7th chapter, 5th verse also. No? 7th chapter, 4 and 5. That what is the Para Prakriti? The Para Prakriti is this. There, what did I say? Just go back to 7.4 and 5. I have discussed already, but that is very important. See, the first part, that the 5 elements, material elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Vanalo, Vayu, come. Then Manaha, Buddhihi, Ahankara, 3 other elements, internal. All these 8 together, he says the eightfold Prakriti is the Apara Prakriti, inferior Prakriti. There is lot of meaning in it. Apara Prakriti means it is material. Now, in the Para Prakriti, Apareyam itastvanyam Prakritim vidhi me param, this Para Prakriti of him, that is the main mystery making, that is the main jugglery, that is the magician, this Para Prakriti. What it is doing? Jiva Bhutam Mahavaho. yaya idam jagat dhariyate. It is that consciousness, that supreme consciousness appearing as the jiva, holding the whole universe. There comes the whole jugglery where we find it very difficult to understand how is it the consciousness is within me and others are there. The whole thing, if you understand this, it will be very clear. That consciousness appearing with the association of the body-mind personality, it is appearing as a small. But in the process, it is holding the whole universe, because the universe has to appear in our consciousness, otherwise we will never be able to know it. What we are interacting with as the outer world is whatever is appearing in our consciousness. Beyond that, there could be so many things we are not coming to know. Our world does not consist of that. Our world consists of only 5 sense perceptions and mind, the Shashthendriya, as they said. So, in the process of appearing like Jiva is the whole mystery, then that is coming down to all the creation of the Indriyas and the body and corresponding the world also. Whatever our Indriyas are according to that. Suppose we develop, as I said the other day, a microscopic vision, then a whole world will look different. It will be different. If I develop an electrical vision, Indriya, then everything will be different. We will not see the light but see the electricity. Everything will be different. It is through the Indriyas the whole world appearance is created. So for us, the whole world is Dhariyat, is supported by this, our consciousness, which is an appearance of the Supreme Purusha in the form of a small jiva for all jivas. Now, if that is so, then to remember that I am that jiva, which is untouched, unaffected by all the changes taking place in my personality, whether it is sukha, dukkha, this perception, that perception, everything. I am only the jiva which is revealing all these things. Now, how we can make it a sadhana? This has to be a sadhana of going within and looking at it. In Ashtavakra Samhita, I said the Ashtavakra Rishi is telling Janaka Raja that Yadi deham prithak kritva chiti vishramya tishtasi adhunaiva sukhi shanto bandhamuktaha bhavishyasi. That if you somehow can separate your body, yadi deham prithak kritva, if you can separate your body, separate from where? From the I-ness. That means I am the witness of the body. Chiti vishramya tishtasi. No other thought in the mind at all. Chiti means the chitta. Vishramya means it is at rest. That means it is not thinking anything at all. If you can make it, then now itself, here itself, you will become adhunaiva sukhi shantaha bandhamuktaha bhavishyasi. You will become liberated. Now, you can easily do it by thinking that I am not touched by anything at all. I am the seer of everything. And just simply go deep into that. You will find that you have become free. The moment we are detached from the body identity, we will become free. So, this is what we have to do. By what? Making it sadhana means that we have to remember that I am the Sanatana Amsha. Sanatana means immortal. That means it cannot undergo any change at all. That means the element I in us is not undergoing any change at all. Similarly, suppose you are seeing maybe first time when you see the ocean or go to a beach, 1 or 2 days when you see the ocean, you feel very delighted and expanded about it. But later on, it does not affect you at all. It remains outside. If you think about it, when do we have the expansion? That first time when you saw, immediately you forgot all other thoughts. And the mind took the form of the ocean or the sea. So you felt the vastness. Later on, it is just an external vision. Until it comes to your mind within you, you will not have the feeling corresponding to that. Instead of seeing the sea then outside, better you sit in your room and contemplate on the sea, the dimension. You will find you are becoming vast. Do you understand? Until the thing is within us, we will not have the corresponding expansion or anything. So how to make it a sadhana? This is the sadhana, that whatever we are studying, we have to bring it in through our contemplation. If it remains outside, it will not have the effect on our mind, on our intelligence, on our emotion. It won't have the effect. Sometimes when we sing the Upanishadic slokas with a particular tune and sound and bhava and all, what happens is that all the audiovisual or the audio part of it, it affects so much that that sound gives us the expansion. Although we may not understand the full meaning of it. If we can understand the meaning of it, then immediately we will have the joy of that expansion. The fact is that anything we want to make sadhana, it has to be brought to the mind. That is why from the beginning, this time I am saying that when we were discussing the Shanti mantras, that mantra means mananat trayate, that which liberates through mentation. Unless the mantra, whatever it means, it is in our mind, it will not have the liberating effect. Any mantra, these are also mantras. So to get the sadhana effect, the liberating effect from the mantras, we have to sow them in our mind. We have to completely sink them in our mind. If it remains outside, it will not work. Suppose you are standing before the sea. There is a huge wave coming. You will feel fearful, will you not? Because you are thinking that I am standing on the beach and something is coming and devouring me. Now, through contemplation, you become the sea. You become the sea. Now, in you there is a huge wave. Will you be afraid or will you feel powerful? Are you able to understand? I am the sea in which such huge waves are there. You have to imagine it, you have to do the thought experiment. You will feel powerful about it. Similarly, when a huge dukkha comes, you think that I am the sea of consciousness in which a huge dukkha wave has come. Will you be afraid of the dukkha or you will feel powerful to hold that dukkha, whether it is dukkha or sukha or anything? They are mental waves. I am not the wave. I am the substratum where the waves are rising. So here we have to remember that I am the Sanatana Hamsha of the Adi Purusha. And I am the substratum of the whole world. I am the substratum of all the thoughts, all the emotions coming to me. So will I not feel powerful to embrace all the dukkhas, all the sukhas, which I have been telling for all these days? This is how we have to make it your own. Then you will never be either running after big sukha or running away from dukkha. You will be able to support, hold them, embrace them, and completely own them. In Swamsi Karana, there is in Malayalam they use, that is making it your own. So this is how this sadhana will go on. This section is this kind of a sadhana where you have to remember that I am the Sanatana Amshaha of the Adi Purusha and I am not touched by anything at all. I am not touched by any change in the body, mind, personality. I am only the seer of it. All the changes taking place in it. You will easily be able to, at least one time, even once if you can do it, you will find that becomes the energy or the fillip to do it again and again. Once you do it and become successful in doing it, completely identifying it, then that will help you in doing in many other cases also, and finally it will become natural. That is the way any sadhana is. Initially we have to do it, feel it, then that whatever we feel, that becomes the power to repeat it in that second time or third time or so. Finally it becomes natural. So this section is the individual sadhana, where he is saying that I am that Sanatana Hamsha, and what am I doing? Throughout the Janma, life, birth, life and death, what am I doing? That Sanatana Hamsa, from the Prakriti taking the gunas, all the Indriyas are gunas, And whatever the world is made of is of the that Panchabhuta. They are corresponding to these gunas alone. It's a simultaneous process. As the Indriyas are, so is the world is formed. So it is taking from the Prakriti these gunas to create all the sense organs through which our Jagat is constructed, Jagat is created. Whether it is during birth, it is creating those Indriyas and the Jagat together, or at death, when it is withdrawing from the Jagat and the Indriyas. Now, you need not think of death. It is happening in our deep sleep Sushupti also. In Sushupti also is similar happening. When we are from the wakeful state, we are going into the dream state, the external gross Indriyas from there already it has withdrawn. So they are not functioning at that time. May not be fully, sometimes if it is a loud sound, it will come, whatever. Broadly, it has withdrawn. Now, from in the dream, what is happening? The internal Indriyas are still active. In the dream also, you are having the same 5 Indriyas. You are creating your world, the whole world. There you don't have any doubt that it is a world created by me. And yes, it is actually so. It is an individual, your dream and another person's dream will be different. It is not like this world, that which will be same for all persons. So you have created the world, and from there, when you are withdrawing to Sushupti, you are withdrawing the Indriyas from there. This is the same Utkramanti. There is no need for thinking of Punarjanma or anything here. You can think, but they have not said that it is going to another body or anything, at least here. So it is simply, if you think in this manner, it will help your sadhana. If you think in terms of Punarjanma, it will not help in your sadhana at all, not in your spiritual sadhana. It will help in remaining on the moral track as it is meant for. So all religious codes are meant for keeping people on the moral track. That purpose it serves. But when you are taking to spiritual sadhana, then you have to look for whatever sadhana will make me like the soul. Whatever, by what I will become like the soul. You have to apply that. So when you think that how you meditate on it more and more, that how the consciousness is simply taking from the Prakriti gunas, it's all extremely subtle. That is why we are not able to see. From the subtle Prakriti, it is creating the Indriyas and the whole world. Then it is withdrawing. But in the dream also, with the same Indriyas, it is creating a dream world. And from there, it is simply withdrawing everything, going into the nothingness of deep sleep. Deep sleep means it is nothingness. But the Sanatana Amsha has not got changed. It is still knowing the deep sleep. There won't be any time or anything, because there is no change. In the deep sleep, there is no signal. It is nothingness. But that Sanatana Amsha consciousness is still knowing that nothingness. So getting up, it will feel that I did not know anything. Whether he has slept for 5 hours or 5 days, that he will not know. Because there was no change during deep sleep period. To know the time, there has to be objective changes. Otherwise, he will not know. So he says, Shariram Noti yachapyutkramatishvaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandhani vashad. They have given the example of as from the ashraya of air, the fragrance of the flowers are taken and taken elsewhere. Like that, from the Prakriti, these gunas are in the Prakriti. Prakriti is made of that. Actually, Prakriti also is not there. It is all consciousness only. But in the consciousness, as the Prakriti is appearing, it is a combination of all these gunas. With the gunas, it is creating the senses, and it is withdrawing from that also. Shrotram chakshusparshanam cha rasanam ghranam eva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. To have the worldly enjoyment, all these Indriyas, through the Indriyas, it is performing that. But at the same time, really speaking, it is not enjoying, it is not doing anything. But it is allowing the body-mind personality to undergo all the experiences of joy and sorrow and everything. Now, further is there. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam. Whether it is withdrawing from the senses or engaging in the senses. Bhunjanam means when it is doing the bhoga, When it is with the gunas or without the gunas, we always are missing the what it is, that consciousness is being missed. Our focus is always what is the bhoga, what we are enjoying, what we are seeing or not seeing. The nothingness also, it's not seeing anything. All these are, our focus is there. So we miss the real thing because our focus is always on the fragmented small light. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽपि अकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसः. This I have discussed in detail yesterday. Now we are moving over to, this is the always the Upanishads will do. Earlier also I have pointed out in Kathopanishad, in Mundakopanishad, they will deal with these two areas parallelly. That is, once they will say inside whatever is happening, then they will go to the whole universe. That is finding the truth within, and then they will take that the finding the same truth in the whole universe. So this is the section now, 12, 13, 14, 12 and 13 basically, then it is changing a little. 12 and 13. Now this 12 and 13, they have taken just a summary statement from the Upanishads. When the Upanishads we read, you will find that shloka after shloka they will go on describing this. There is a reason. When we chant those shlokas with the meaning, you understand the meaning and then do it, chant it with force, you will find that that bhava itself will create a vastness in you, a sublimity in you. Suppose the other day I was chanting that from the Shvetashvatara, that natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. When we chant like that, even if you don't understand all the meanings, it will create a bhava in you, it will have an effect on our mind. So Upanishads are always, and if you understand the meaning, then it will be a great sadhana, because by chanting, we will become what we want to become. Baba always used to say, it is a quotation of Tulasidas or somebody, but Baba used to say that Ram se lagi raho bhai, banat bani jai. Ram se lagi raho bhai, banat bani jai. That means be engaged in the thought of the truth. Slowly you will become the truth. Banat bani jai means becoming, finally you will become the truth. That is what the knowledge is. This knowledge is about our own self. So it is not that I have learned the Upanishads and from there I have got the knowledge. No. The knowledge of the Upanishads, the study of the Shastras have to be used as a tool. Do you understand? As a tool. So whenever we are contemplating on those shlokas, there is a transformation taking place within our mind, emotion, intelligence. So more and more we are engaging in these thoughts, in this contemplation. Actually, there is a transformation taking place. Banata bani jai. We become the. Finally, jnana is not different from me. I become the jnana. Jnata and jnana here it is not different. When we are starting, then I am jnata and that is jnana. Two are different. But as we proceed in our knowledge, slowly the jnata starts becoming the jnana. And finally, it is the same, jnana. We become the jnana. That is why the Mahavakya of Rigveda says, Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. That Prakrishta Jnanam, the normal Jnanam is a taken knowledge with the Dvaita, duality Jnana. But when the Jnata becomes the Jnana, it is called Prakrishta Jnana. Prajnana, that is the Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma. Can you imagine Rigveda is the oldest Veda? How many thousands of years ago, 10, 20, or it is prehistoric, nobody can say. They have made this statement, which science is trying to make now. But science tries to make about the material object. Okay, so, Yadadityagatam tejo Jagadbhasayate khilam Yachandramasi yacchagnau तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलम् यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्. He says that Aditya Gatam means whatever is in the ashraya of Aditya, that means the whatever tejas or radiation is there in the sun, that radiation is illuminating the whole universe, whole world, so to say, our world, solar system, of course. The whole world is bhasayate, means whole world is illumined by that radiation. Yat chandramasi yat chagnu, the moon sheds the sun sheds a scorching radiation and the moon sheds the cooling radiation. Yat cha agnau, and whatever tejas is there in Agni, in fire, all these three, they have given example by all others also. Tat tejo viddhi mamakam, that tejas is mine. Now, why is he saying suddenly? Everything is his. Why that tejas, even this tejas is his, this light bulb, everything is his tejas. So why particularly he is talking about the sun and the moon and the fire? It is only to make our mind vast, because we are always holding on to small, small things. So to make the mind from its smallness, expand the mind from the smallness to the universal dimension, the example is given that Jagat Bhasayati, the whole. Now here again, if you just keep the, oh, sun is there, it is radiating. No, it will not become sadhana. You think of the whole world, that so much of radiation is going all over, everywhere it is. Where from it is coming? What is happening to that? But whatever you may say, the big or small, is it not a concept of our mind? That we are saying the sun is so huge, galaxies are still huge, what great energy, power, all these are our concepts of the mind. Is not the, unless that greatness is there in our mind, will we ever be able to know that it is great? Do you get it? Whatever we are saying, whether it is gross, subtle, big, small, everything is within us. So when we think of the big, the mind becomes big. Otherwise, it will not be a contemplation. When we think of the small, the mind becomes small. When we think of somebody said something very insulting me, I have to reply, he will become disturbed, tormented. He will think only that. When we forget that and embrace him also who has spoken wrongly to you, your mind becomes bigger. So they will always try to expand our mind to the universal level so that we get a touch of the universal soul and we come closer and closer to the soul. So this is about the tejas. Tejas is the outer radiation. Now he will say about ojas, which is not the outer radiation but inward sap, you can say. Ojas is in the trees. How it is growing? On the outside it is the tejas, from the sun the leaves are getting. And from within, the Ashwatha Vriksha I discussed, it is the sap from the roots. That you are not seeing outside. He says that Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamyaham Ojasa Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarvaha Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. He says Gam Avishya. Gam has come from Go. Go means Prithvi. Go has various meanings. Go means Prithvi also, the earth. Earth is called Go. From there Gam. Gam Avishya. Gam must be Dvitiya. Avishya. Actually, Avishya we are using that I am penetrating the Prithvi also. But actually it is not penetrating. The Prithvi is also part of the Prakriti which is appearing in me. That is the real. So, although it is Avishya, we have to understand in that sense. Gama Avishya cha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. By through the earth, entering the earth, I am holding all the beings on earth. By what? By the ojas. I said that is why I said ojas is the invisible internal inspiration, sap. What else can be said? I don't know. Ojas is, even in yoga, we say that when we get the inspiration from within, that is the ojas. We should lose the ojas. By doing yoga and all, what we increase is the ojas. So you will see it as a radiation in the face. It cannot be seen. It is not the outer makeup or anything. It is from the within. The ojas will have its some visible effect also. It is brilliance, but ojas is the power within, the sap, like the sap in a tree. Sap, you know, SAP, sap in the tree. That is the main prana shakti, the life power. You can say it is the life force, vitality. By being the vital force in the earth, I am holding everything that is born of the earth. Maybe earlier the earth was only a stone. Then slowly that vitality generates that from the stone, from the non-biological elements, it developed the biological elements, where elements of life could show up, could manifest. Further, through that ojas only, the further development took place through which the mind and the other things started functioning, manifest. Further, our self-effort, our will, etc., and the power to know, inquire into ourselves. All these things are a slow or a gradual evolution of the earth through ojas. Ojas is the main. So he says, I am the ojas. Because he is the main power on which the whole earth is appearing. And in the earth, as the evolution is taking place, there it is all causal. Through the ojas, as the ojas, the whole evolution on the earth is taking place. Are you finding it a little abstract? Abstract it will be, but are you finding it difficult? हम आज सोचे थे कि थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलेंगे, लेकिन आता नहीं, क्या करें, वो फिर ये चला जाएगा, फ्लो चला जाता है. हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये जब हम शास्त्र पाठ करते हैं ना, शास्त्र पढ़ते हैं, तो इसको पूरी तरह से साधना बनाना चाहिए. नहीं तो इसमें दिलचस्पी नहीं आएगी, इसमें मन नहीं लगेगा. शास्त्र आपसे बात नहीं करेगा. शास्त्र शुड बिकम टॉकिंग टू यू. शास्त्र शुड स्पीक टू यू. उसके लिए हमें सब कुछ, जो कुछ भी बताया जा रहा है, उसको मन में लाना है. हम एक एग्जाम्पल दिए थे, एक इलस्ट्रेशन दिए थे कि जब समुंदर के पास खड़े हैं, समुंदर बहुत बड़ा है, लेकिन जब तक वो समुंदर हमारे मन में हम नहीं लाते हैं, तब तक मन बड़ा नहीं बनेगा. आप पहले बार समुंदर देख रहे हैं, समुद्र देख रहे हैं, मन बहुत फैला गया, ओ दूसरा तरफ, दूसरा क्या बोलते हैं, बैंक, शोर, हाँ, शोर, किनारा दिख नहीं रहा है. उसी समय खबर है कि हमारा नौकरी चली गई है. बस कहाँ गया समुंदर, मन छोटा हो गया. क्यों? वो जो बाहर का जो समुद्र है वो बाहर रहा है, मन में नहीं है. उसको आप एक कमरे में बैठ के अगर मन के द्वारा समुंदर को मन में ले आते हैं, तो मन इतना बड़ा बन जाएगा. वो मन में जब तक नहीं आएगा तब तक काम नहीं होगा. साधना है वही, जो कुछ भी हम पढ़ते हैं उसको मन में लाना है. उसके द्वारा मन का प्रसार, मन को बड़ा बनाना है और मन को पवित्र बनाना है. एक फूल है, ओ बहुत सुंदर है, बहुत सुंदर है, कितना सुंदर दिख रहा है. अरे सुंदर तो है, आपको मन को सुंदर बना. जो सुंदर आप देख रहे हैं वो सुंदर एक भावना मन में है, इसीलिए उसको सुंदर देख रहे हैं। आप अगर चाहते हैं तो फूल देख के मन में सारी कुछ पवित्रता ला सकते हैं। By seeing a flower, you can drink purity. I have used it as a sadhana, I know it very well. Some flowers, it is so pure and soft and flexible. Just looking at the flower, we can drink purity from the flower. साधना बन जाता है। खाली फ्लावर सुंदर है बोल के उसको तोड़ के सिर पे लगा दिया दूसरों को देखने के लिए। आपका मन का क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं हुआ। सब कुछ सुंदर सुंदर चीज यहाँ लगाइए वहां लगी, खूबसूरत। बस मन का क्या होगा? उसको मन में लगाना चाहिए, तोड़ने का जरूरत नहीं है। उसको मन से तोड़ के मन के अंदर डालना चाहिए, तब मन भी सुंदर बन जाएगी। When I was in Calcutta studying BSc, one of my greatest part of the sadhana was sitting in the graveyard. I was studying in St. Xavier's, so very close to hostel. I was staying in the hostel. So very close by was the biggest graveyard of Calcutta, where many of the famous people were buried. And those days, the VIP graveyard, they used to create a lot of superstructure. There'll be angels and all are made of marble. Oh, some of the sculptures, so beautiful. So I would go to the graveyard in the evening after the college, sit there, and particularly in one grave, there was a superstructure in which two angels were there. Angels means small children with the wings, like that. That face of the angel, I used to simply look at the face of the angel and drink purity from it. It was my sadhana. It was my real sadhana, actual sadhana. Days after days I have done it. Sitting there, I was drinking purity. Now, I should thank the sculptor who has made it. But I did not think of the sculptor at all. I was only thinking of the face, putting it in my mind. What am I doing? It is pure, okay. But that purity has to be indrawn, has to be put into and sowed in my mind. Then only the mind will become pure. And it is very simple process. You don't have to work anything, you don't have to cook or anything. You have simply sit and look. Just बैठ के देखते रहिए कितना सुंदर। खाली कितना सुंदर बोलने से नहीं होगा, उसमें जो पवित्रता है उस पवित्रता को मन में लानी चाहिए। This is how we make sadhana. So he is saying, Gamavishya cha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. That is how the whole evolution is taking place from that vital life power, that life energy. Pushnami cha oshadhihi sarvaha. Oshadhihi. Oshadhihi means herbs. Actually, there are several terms. Oshadhi, it is not aushadhi. Aushadhi means medicine. Oshadhi means the seasonal plants, herbs. Briksha means bada ped. Mahiruha means like banyan people, etc. Huge, long-living trees. So Briksha is the middle trees, bada tree. Lekin Mahiruha is living for hundreds of years, thousands of years, or such Briksha, Ashwatha, Bata. Now Oshadhi means where the flower or the fruit comes and then that plant dies. That's the herbs or paddy, etc. They are all Oshadhi. So he says that all the Oshadhis I am Pushnami. Pushnami means I am nourishing. Pushnami means I am nourishing. Pushti means nourishment. Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. By becoming the moon and supplying them the rasa. Now, there is a feeling, and it is not feeling, it is experimented also, that the moonlight actually helps all these herbs to grow. Not only herbs, for us also it has got great effect. I think there are certain diseases for which they keep the patient in moonlight. It is there. In some traditional practices it is there. And paddy growth, etc., it has great moonlight, the Purnima, Amavasya, they have great effect on it. Now, seeing that perhaps they have formed it, what is the science behind this? We don't know. Moonlight is the same, it is the light from the sun reflected by the moon, but it definitely has a cooling effect. Some of the lotuses are blossoming in moonlight. The white lotus, all the white flowers, they blossom in moonlight. So, by Soma means moon. From the moon, Soma is coming. But Soma means a cooling light. So I am supplying the nutrition to the whole, all the herbs through the moonlight. And being the Ojas, I am supporting all the beings on earth. So from the Aditya, the sun, moon, the earth, the whole place, it is the same. He said that Jiva Bhutaha Sanatanaha Amshaha. Here it is not Sanatanaha Amshaha. Sanatana Amsha is when we were doing the individual part of it as Jiva Bhuta. Here it is the cosmic level. It is the same power, the same consciousness in the cosmic level it is generating, it is creating all these things. Apparent creation, apparently. So first we identify going within with our real identity which is untouched by Sukha, Dukkha or any torment, anything. Then we take it outside to say that it is the same thing on which the whole universe is appearing to be with all its variations and all. So when we do it, we make it our sadhana. By that, in one case, the mind becomes asanga. In the first case, the mind absorbs asangatva. Why? Because it is untouched, unaffected by whatever is happening to my body, mind, personality. It is asangatva generated. In the second case, it generates the universality of the soul. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. Now he has come down to the individual level. What is he saying? Aham Vaishvanaraha Bhutva. Vaishvanaraha means fire. It's a name of fire. Praninam Dehamashritaha. That means all the animals, by entering their body as the fire, what do I do? Pranapana Samayuktaha. Getting associated with the prana and apana, the vital, the breath. There are 5 breaths, 5 kind of breath which are nourishing our body. The prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, that it depends on the different movements. The prana is upward movement and apana is downward movement. These are the main. Then there are balanced and other things. Now he says that by associated with this breath movement, because that is necessary for digestion, he says, I am digesting the 5 kinds of anna. Pachamyannam Chaturvidham, 4 kinds, Chaturvidham, 4 kinds of food. What is the 4? Generally they say Bhojya, Bhakshya, Choshyam, Bhojyam, Bhakshyam, Choshyam, Lehyam. Another way of saying is, which is generally the Bengalis use, I don't know, that is Charvya, Choshya, Lehya and Peya. This bhogyam is, I think it is rice-like thing. Whereas bhakshyam is, which is just swallowed, not chewed. The bhogyam is chewing and swallowing. Bhakshya is like payasam, etc., semi-liquid. Choshyam is sucking, that musambi and other things sucking. And lehyam is mostly the medicine. No, lehyam means licking. Generally medicines we lick. Licking, what food is there to lick? Honey and chutney. Chutney name is chutney, matlab chatna hai. So in Bengali we generally is charvya, choshya, lehya, peya. Peya means water, drinking, water like milk, water, etc. drinking. Charvya means you have to chew. And choshya means you have to suck. And lehya means lick. So either way, there are various kinds of way. The all kinds is I am digesting. That is the main thing there. Now here this Vaishvanara is the fire. Actually Vaishvanara means the fire in its cosmic sense also. In Kathopanishad is there that when Yamaraja is coming back from his tour, after 3 days, he finds a brahmachari is sitting right in front of his palace for 3 days and 3 nights. He has not been attended to. See, in Yamaraja's palace it can happen. Our ashram, what is wrong? Here we are attending to people much more than that. 3 days, 3 nights, कोई भी बैठे रहते हैं क्या? कभी कभी 1 घंटा बैठना पड़ता है. So he found that a brahmachari is sitting there for 3 days, 3 nights without food, without drink. Nobody has attended to him. So he is saying that a brahmachari has come like Vaishvanara. That means a brahmachari is so powerful. A real brahmachari will have so much of tejas, power, that he is like fire. Why fire? Fire can be utilized for both purposes. It can be used for our cooking and warmth and whatnot. But if you are not caring about fire, it will destroy you. है ना? If you don't take care, then a little fire also साड़ी में लग जाएगा और पूरा खत्म. So any powerful thing has to be handled with lot of care. So there he is saying that a brahmacharin should be taken well care of, should be taken care of well, because he is a powerful entity. So there they have used the word Vaishvanaraha. Here also, that when we are thinking that our food is actually, it is the ultimate Purusha, the Bhagavan, the ultimate Purushottama, who becoming Vaishvanara is digesting my food. It is not I eating whatever my tongue likes and food खाना दिया गया है, गप 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 खा लिया. क्यों? भूख लगा है. अरे भूख लगा है, वो वैश्वानर बैठा है, उनको खिलाना है, तो उसको अच्छी तरह उनको वंदना करके, प्रेयर करके, उनके लिए जो उपयुक्त है उसको उसी को खिलाना है. Not according to the tongue. It should be according to the need, because the Lord is sitting there and it is an offering giving to the Lord. As everything in our work is to be regarded as an offering to the Lord. So when we think that I am offering to the Lord, then should we not be careful that what I am giving is the most honored thing? वैसा तो नहीं करते हैं हमारे यहाँ. तो छोटा छोटा केला पूजार कला दादा पूजार कला नहीं जान भाई एखोनो पूजा में ऑफर करने के लिए छोटा छोटा केला है जो ह्यूमन बींग्स नहीं खाते हैं. वो पूजा में ठाकुर ही खाली खाते हैं, मतलब खाली देवता खाते हैं और कोई नहीं खाते हैं. सस्ता में मिलेगा. So दादा पूजर कला दे सेल लाइक दैट. दादा पूजर कला पूजा के लिए केला है, पूजा के लिए केला है, खाने के लिए नहीं है. So that is ulta. It's just the reverse we are doing. Actually, we should do the other way. We should take the best of the materials to offer. If we give the supreme position, then the supreme things to be offered to him. We have given supreme the lowest position, so we offer also the rejected thing, like Vajasravas, Nachiketa's father. गाय देते थे, पीतोदका जगदत्रिना निरिंद्रिया. Pitodaka means the cow which has taken water for the last time in life. Jagdatrina means the cow which has eaten grass for the last time in life. जो त्रिना खाना है वो खा ली. जगदत्रिना. दुग्ध दोहा, वो दूध जितना देना था दे दी है और दूध नहीं मिलेगा. निरिंद्रिया, कोई एक हॉर्न है या एक आंख खत्म हो गया, एक टांग टूटा हुआ है. So that is all he was giving to the priests who had done the yaga for him. The 16 priests who performed the yaga for him to go to heaven. If the priests are successful to sending him to the heaven, what should be given to the priest? All these things. So you can easily understand he is not going to the heaven, he is going to the hell. He did not understand, but his small son, 7-year-old Nachiketa, understood that this is what is going to happen. For offering to the Lord, we buy fruits and other things. So those puja, kela means plantain. So banana. Banana is the most common offering for Lord. So normally banana we take the good bananas, they are costly. So for puja offering they bring small bananas which normally nobody would take. You can only offer to the Lord. It is only for offering, not for eating. Puja kela means that. हिंदी बोलने से ये लोग समझते नहीं है, इंग्लिश बोलने से आप लोग कोई समझते नहीं है, क्या करें? रोज देखते हैं, जब सुनते हैं कि इंग्लिश समझ में नहीं आता, सुनने से हमें दुख होता है, बहुत दुख होता है, क्या करें? अहम वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनाम देहमाश्रितः प्राणापान समायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नम चतुर्विधम. So when we are this, that is why this 15th chapter, it is one reason why 15th chapter is chanted before food. That is to remind us that the food we are taking is not for satisfying our tongue, but for satisfying the Vaishwanara. When the greed and attachment, sangha to the taste is not there, when we think in that manner, when we contemplate in that manner, then the lingering taste and greed for a certain food, which may not be good for the body also, those things will be taken care of. Similarly, we do the Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. By that everything is Brahman. When we really, if we just chant it, nothing will happen. While chanting, we have to think that everything is a manifestation of the one uniform truth. The moment your mind goes there, the mind will be freed of the lobha and other things, which is causing you to take the wrong things. That will automatically be taken care of. You will not take out of greed or out of special taste, or in some cases, because the taste is not good, we don't take the good thing. You will start finding that such bitter things are much better. It has got a better taste also. Bitterness also is good, provided you understand that. When we start feeling the natural taste of things, then we understand that we have been fooled to add so much of spices, spoiling the natural taste of the vegetables. So when we are making our mind vast and uniform, taking it away from its lingering taste and all other constrictions, we develop a natural sensitivity for what is to be taken, how much to be taken, when to stop, everything. We have deliberately desensitized our system. Like animals, they know which grass is to be eaten and which grass is not to be eaten. Like that, we also have that sensitivity. But we have, by our habit, we have usko khatam kar diya hai. We have reduced it. We have completely terminated it. In 14th chapter it is there that when the sattva guna increases, sarvadvareshu prakasha upajayate. When the sattva guna increases, sarvadvareshu prakasha upajayate. All dwara means the indriyas, the sense organs. perception. All the sense organs, there will be a special brilliance by the enhancement of the sattva guna. Brilliance means, the Indriya's brilliance means, it will automatically know what is to be done, what is not to be done, which is good, which is bad. It's a special insight of the Indriyas. They will all become specially illumined. The Sattva Guna makes us illumined. Seeing the food, we will know that this is not cooked with a proper mind. The mind was polluted when it was cooked. You will know from seeing the food. Yes, everything will be known. The Sattva Guna will generate that prakasha. Prakasha means illumination, that special radiation in the Indriyas. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaishcha sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham. He says, Sarvasya cha aham sarvasya cha hridi sannivishtaha. Sannivishtaha means samyak nivishtaha. After saying all this, that I am the Vaishvanara, the cosmic fire, I am in the Gama Vishya, I am the Ojas in the Prithvi, I am the Tejas in the sun and moon. It is all in a cosmic level. Then he says, but you don't have to run to the sun and the moon to discover me. I am the Tejas in the sun. But you don't have to go to discover me, go to the sun to discover me. I am right here in your heart. Not only that, not in your heart, but in the I you are always using. Right in you, or I am you. Sannivishtaha, samyak nivishtaha. I am right there. So you don't have to go anywhere. Simply leave your tendency to look for the second. Then I am there. You will be able to find me. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me only, whatever you are having, the memory and jnana, the knowledge you are acquiring, and the knowledge or smriti you are losing also. Everything is because of me. So never take any credit that I am very intelligent, I know so many things. It is all because of that jiva bhutaha sanatanaha amshaha. Any moment, a small circuit can either break, you will fall dead, or it may become a little defective, become dementia and Alzheimer, all. As I am often forgetting everything. Often I have to ask, what is your name? Even to speak to Namrata, I have to ask, what is your name? She will say Namrata, then I have to speak. This is apohanam cha, the forgetfulness. This is also from him. So we should welcome that also. As Rabindranath's song, here also we should prostrate before this forgetfulness, that here also it is Lord. When the Smriti Bhramshata come, we have to accept, embrace it as this is also Lord. Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam cha. In Devi, what is that? Chandi, it is there the Bhranti Rupena Samsthita. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Bhranti Rupena Samsthita. Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. See, there also it is there. That Devi is in us in the form of Bhranti. All the bhul, all the mistakes we are making. So, for that also Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. That is Bhranti also. We are prostrating before the Bhranti, because that is also Devi. See, our culture, our literature, nothing they have left. Wherever we make any mistake, everything is caught and everything is converted into the ultimate truth. So that whole life can be divinized. It is not coming away from the life to look for the divinity. It is divinizing the whole life. Through a poetic vision, you can say. Even if you are not a spiritualist, doesn't matter. You can develop a poetic vision which will divinize your life. Well, in spirituality, there will be some direct experiences and all, and it will be in a scientific manner. But if you don't want that science, what prevents you to become a poet and have a poetic vision of the world? It will equally give you joy and expansion and whatnot. That is not lesser spirituality at all. Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. All the Vedas, their purpose is only to speak about me. I am the purpose of the Vedas. That we have said earlier also. Sarve Veda yat padama amananti tapamsi sarvani cha jadvadanti. Kathopanishad. Same thing. Vedanta krit Veda videva chaham. I am the maker of the Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas also. Everything am I. So don't think that I, the small human personality, I know the Vedanta or I know the Veda. It is the truth which reveals through our personalities as the knower. Nothing else. No ego is called for. Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. I agree. When I sleep, the world disappears. But in reality, it does not. Then how is it that Jagat is Mithya statement to be believed? I never said that because of that Jagat is Mithya. I said that Jagat Mithya statement is Mithya, because if Jagat is Mithya, then I am part of the Jagat, I am a product of the Jagat and I am making the statement, then where is the guarantee that my statement is true? The statement itself is Mithya by that. So Jagat Mithya, did you understand my logic? If Jagat is Mithya, means not there or something, then I am a product of the Jagat, I am not there. So I am making the statement Jagat Mithya. So that statement also is not there. So it has no meaning that way. But we have to understand why do we say the Jagat Mithya. That I have explained, that it is not, when we look for the cause of the Jagat, we don't find any cause. The fault lies in our thinking that the causality is true. Causality is only in the material universe. Jagat Mithya in the sense that the whole universe is appearing in consciousness. That consciousness is the true and the appearance, it is changeful, everything there. In that sense only. Mithya does not mean that it is not there. Then I am also not there. If Jagat is Mithya, people say that it's all illusion, so why should I work? I will not do anything. Are your not doing is also equally Mithya. If the Jagat is Mithya, you are Mithya, your doing or not doing, both are Mithya. The question is after knowing what you do, whether you do or we do not do. Either you do the Mithya work or you pursue the Mithya not doing. Both way it is Mithya. The question is what you do after the philosophy. That is why the other shloka I said that Advaita being Mithya, it is there I think here. Mithya bhuto hi Vedantaha. That being Mithya, it helps us to attain the truth. Mithya bhutopi Vedantaha satyam artham prabodayet. Devata pratima vaccha chitravat pratibimbavat. He says that Vedanta, although it is also Mithya, because Vedanta is our logic, our concept, everything. Advaita is our concept. So it is Mithya. But being Mithya, it is able to take us to the truth. Satyamartham prabodhayet. Prakrishta rupena bodhayet. As like the Devata Pratima, which is not the God at all. God is all pervading. How can it be the Pratima? It is only a symbol. Chitravat, Pratibimbavat, like the picture or like the reflection in the mirror. So, Mithya, we have to understand what is Mithya. In what sense it is Mithya. It is not Mithya means that when we have the knowledge, I will find that the world is not there. No, it is not like that. In fact, I am often thinking that whether this Mithya word should be eliminated. Because it creates so much of wrong pursuit. Maya means that which is not. Actually, the real word is atasmin tat buddhi. Atasmin tat buddhi. That means we are saying our buddhi is seeing as it is not. Atasmin tat buddhi. What in the context of amanitvam, what is the difference between abhimana and swabhimana? Actually, abhimana is mana only, but swabhimana generally we use in the sense of self-respect. That is a pride about the country and our culture and all. That is not regarded as bad as long as it is not egoistic. If I am correct, I am not very true, but swabhimana generally we use in the form of for our country, for our culture, the sense of esteem. So as long as it is not wrong and egoistic, it is perfectly all right. Otherwise, mana and abhimana both are same. Acha. Yesterday, there is no time. I will just read out so that you can know. Yesterday, whatever I was saying about the soul and self and the jiva as a separate existence, this is from Birhadaranyaka. I have the full quotation, but I will not read out the quotation. I will read only the translation. The only important part I will read. Yajnavalkya is telling Maitri under the same question that what happens when the body falls, what is happening. So Yajnavalkya at the end of his lecture he is saying, Etebhyo bhutebhyaha samuthaya tanyevanu vinashyati na prepya sangha asti iti are bravimiti hovacha Yajnavalkya. He says that as a lump of salt has neither inside nor outside, and is but a homogeneous mass of taste, even so, this self, my dear, my tree, has neither inside nor outside, and is but a homogeneous mass of consciousness throughout. On account of these elements, the self, these elements means the making the personality. On account of these elements, the self stand out separately as an individual. And as soon as these are destroyed, that means these elements are destroyed, its separate existence is also destroyed. After attaining isolation, it has no particular consciousness at all. This is what I say, my dear, said Yajnavalkya. Then Maitri is saying, Maitri said, Oh, Venerable Sir, you have thrown me into the midst of great confusion. I do not at all understand what you are saying. Yajnavalkya replied, Of course, I am not saying anything to confuse you, my dear. I am saying only to clarify. This self, my dear, is indeed unchangeable. It is indestructible. It cannot move from anywhere to anywhere. So these statements will come very rarely somewhere because it will directly deal with the sort of Punarjanma. People may lose the faith or so. These are not discussed generally. In another place, in Janakasabha's palace, in Janaka Maharaja's palace, the great argument is going on with Yajnavalkya and others. Because Janaka Maharaja said that, who is the greatest Brahmavid? So nobody says, who will say, I am the greatest Brahmavid? If he says, he will be out by that very statement, nobody can say. Everybody was keeping quiet. Finally, Yajnavalkya told his Shishya that you take the cows to my ashram. So everybody got up. How can you take it? You have not been proven as a Shrestha Brahmavid. He said, no, I did not mean that nobody is taking the cows, so I asked him to take the cows. No, you cannot take. You have to reply us. Okay, you ask. Then the questions after questions start. It's full, a big chapter. So there one brahmacharin was questioning. After Gargi, another brahmacharin took up the thread and started questioning him. Finally, at one point, when it is leading to contradiction, it's very poetic. Yajnavalkya said that, I understand your question. I extend my hand. You keep your hand in my hand. Let us go away from this. Let us go out in an isolated place. Let us understand and realize the truth and come back. This is not to be discussed in the open assembly. Everything is there in our Shastras. We have to read it. We have thrown it in the dustbin. Okay. प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि। प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि।